So, welcome to Beyond Sports with Paul and Jeremy. I am Paul, and
I'm Jeremy.
that's Jeremy. We got Jeremy again. I'm Paul. That's Jeremy. So today we're going to be talking about a couple of things, right? Jeremy, what are one or two of the things that we're going to be talking about today for the start of the what is it? Almost like when is fall here? When does fall come? By the way.
In another 3 weeks or so, September 21st, 22nd, something like that.
Okay,
So,
so this is our pre-fall episode.
yeah, end of summer, definitely.
End of summer episode. Yeah, finally closing it down. Summer's been really fun and interesting. COVID's back now, so we'll see what that means for the world of sports. We're not going to talk about that today, but that is a very interesting topic that we should address in the future, especially with how it's been over. Wow, it's like almost the past 2 years of sports, almost, right? Because we had the whole NBA bubble, then we had the whole NBA season. So yeah, that's an interesting thing that is coming back up. But we'll save that. We'll save that for another time. So Jeremy, what are some of the things that we're going to be talking about in today's show?
Well, one thing that we do want to talk about, Jameis Winston just earned the starting spot in New Orleans. We'd
Hey,
included him in our preview last week in terms of top 10 quarterbacks, and he made the list, him or Taysom Hill. So he now has a starting job. So we want to talk a little bit about that. And Paul wanted to talk about some of our favorite college football moments since college football is right around the corner also. So those are two things we could talk about. Who knows where it'll go from there. Also, according to Podbean, this will be our 50th episode. So celebrating our
hey,
50th episode as well.
the big 50, the
Yeah.
big half century, the big
Yeah.
number 50. Yeah,
Big number. Who knew? Who knew we would
who
make it
knew?
to 50?
Who knew? Who knew?
I
I
don't think
knew.
anybody still knows. I don't think anybody knows we made it.
Oh,
We'll see
they'll
how many.
they'll they'll know. They'll know eventually. So,
Yeah.
awesome. Let's just start out by talking. Let's talk about Jameis. Let's just jump straight into Jameis because I think that that's one that is an interesting kind of like conversation, right? We talked a little bit last week about Jameis, and I think we both had him at what, number 9? Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had Jameis at number 9 last week as our top 10 quarterbacks, right? And for me, I thought that Jameis could be a top 10 quarterback. Just looking at his past pedigree and kind of like what he's been able to do, minus all of the interceptions, he seems like he has a very strong understanding of the game. He knows how to get the ball to guys when they get open deep. So that's one of his biggest strengths. He tries to make time, and sometimes that works out. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily help him how it probably should, you know. But I do think that Jameis has a lot of skills. The question is, for me, how long does he hold on to the starting spot, and how often is he used? Right? They still have that Taysom Hill situation down there as well, and they just paid him fairly well. So I don't know if he's gonna have that complete lock. But what's your take on that situation with Jameis being announced as the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints this year?
Well, I think this is what we both wanted to happen because we both think that Jameis Winston is a better quarterback than Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill can be used for a lot of the gadget plays. He can play all around the field. But how can those two play at the same time? You know, if Taysom Hill won the starting quarterback job, well, then Jameis Winston can't play except for if he comes in, if Taysom gets hurt or something. But Taysom can actually play with Jameis as the starting quarterback. So he can still do what he does, line up at tight end or wide
Yeah,
receiver, line up in the backfield, whatever they want to do with Taysom Hill, they can still do that with Jameis Winston as starting quarterback. And I think that kind of factored into the decision to make Jameis the starter. And there's also the fact that, frankly, Jameis is just a better thrower of the ball. Jameis has been a starter for 5 years. Jameis has much better history, and the tape you have on Jameis is just better. A lot of people are holding that one season against him 2 years ago, and I think that's pretty unfair because before that he had been a solid starting quarterback. He hadn't thrown 30 interceptions. He hadn't thrown 20 interceptions before that. So Jameis isn't a bad quarterback. Jameis was a leader of his team in college. He's a leader in the NFL. So all those intangibles he still has. And whatever you're laughing about, he is a leader. Doesn't matter if he makes decisions off the field. He has made crazy decisions off the field. But on the field, he's a leader. He wants to be the guy to be in front of his teammates telling them to eat W's, right? He's that guy. That's what he wants to do. So beyond that, he is the guy that you want leading your team, I think. Off the field matters, whatever. But I think they made the right decision. I also think that it's kind of funny because the whole issue with him getting LASIK surgery, I think, has been underreported, really, honestly. I'm looking at this Sports Illustrated article really quick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's by Dan Gartland. It was published April 2020, I think. And they were talking about how he just got LASIK surgery. Now he can throw picks to guys he sees clear as day. So they got jokes. And what they said, he says, now I can read license plates. I can read street signs. I think the precision in the vision is the biggest difference. He couldn't read street signs and license plates before. And he couldn't read scoreboards. No blurriness. I think that's huge. That perception has increased tremendously. And those are the big things. I didn't have bad eyes. I just had astigmatism. I had certain things that they had to fix to increase the precision and sharpness of my vision. And here's what Bruce Arians said. He can't read the scoreboard, but he can see the guys in front of him, so he's fine. I don't feel like that's a great job of coaching your guys. If you know for a fact your guy can't even read the scoreboard, but you're like, hey, it's fine. He's cool. It just feels like they set him up to fail, right?
It's like endlessly getting delayed game penalties.
Yeah, like he don't know what the time says or whatever.
It's like he can't tell how many timeouts are left. Like he's like, I don't know how much time is left. Like he can't run a 2-minute warning. What's going on with Jameis?
Yeah.
I think that is a big thing, right? Like you have to have vision as a quarterback, right? Like if you're a defensive lineman, I get it. It's very close. If you're an offensive lineman, again, it's very close. I mean, if you're pulling, maybe you have to like look in the distance to find your guy. But for the most part, like those positions are okay. Like if you're a safety and you have vision issues, that could be something. And if you're a quarterback, right, that's definitely something that could affect you. So I'm glad that Jameis got this corrective surgery, and I'm excited to see what he does. I know that he still threw a bunch of picks in the preseason. And I don't know, did you get to see that last did you get to see the 2 touchdowns from his last preseason game, by the way?
I did.
What'd you think about those 2, by the way?
I thought they were good passes, and I thought they were probably better catches by Callaway. So Callaway is the guy that's been touted as the guy to replace Michael Thomas, and he played really well that night. There was really well thrown balls. And the good thing about Jameis, the thing about Jameis is he's going to throw the ball. Like, he has no fear. He never has had any fear. He has supreme confidence in his arm and in his ability to put the ball where it needs to go. So I'm not worried about that at all. Like, in terms of his confidence, his willingness to make those throws, all there. So if his guys can catch it, they're going to do really well. So I thought it was great. I like to see it. I thought Callaway really impressed me. He made some tough catches on those 2 touchdowns. And then comparing him to Taysom Hill just seemed more tentative. Hill didn't seem like he was as certain with himself as far as where he wanted to put the ball. He got into a groove later on, and he started making some shorter passes to get his rhythm and everything. But I just think that if you have those 2 guys and you have a starting of a game and you can't really have a guy work himself into form, I think Jameis is going to get your team off to a much better start. And then who knows? Maybe you do a little relief pitching or something. I don't know. But as far as the start of it, Jameis, I think, is the better starter.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's interesting. Like we both said that we think that Jameis is going to win the starting job for a lot of reasons, and I think that is the right call to have Jameis as a starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. One thing that I do worry about is how long do they stay with him as the quarterback, right? If he does start to have these interception issues, like, do you stick with him? Do you move to Taysom Hill? Do you try to do a mix? Like, it's a very awkward situation, and I know that I'm already kind of projecting that he might throw these interceptions, right? But it is a realistic concern, not necessarily just because he's done it in the past, but you know that when you're a quarterback and you're getting your second chance and you're trying to come back into the game and show people what you have, there has to be a little bit of that criticism that's ringing in your head constantly. Like, do I make this pass? Do I Do I try to fit it into this window? What do I do? And I hope that for Jameis, he doesn't have that type of issue. And I'm hoping that he doesn't, especially with all the criticism that he received in college and when he got to the NFL. He's always actually received a lot of criticism. So hopefully he's able to deal with it. But what's your take on that background noise? Do you think that that's going to be something that affects him, especially with the media every time he throws an interception, reminding us about how bad he has been in the past? Do you think that Jameis has the mental makeup, I guess, or has shown the mental makeup in the past to show that he's going to be able to push past all the media, all the back noise that's going to surround him when he makes any type of mistake this year?
I think, first of all, again, he had one bad year because it was his first year in the system, and traditionally quarterbacks in the Bruce Arians system struggle in their first year. So for people to say he's been bad in the past is ignoring all the years he was good, which was every year before that. He might not have been the best quarterback in the league before that, but he wasn't bad. Again, his interception numbers were not anywhere in the 20s before that. So he threw less than 2 a game, right? Maybe 1 a game on average before that, which isn't bad. I mean, it's the NFL. You're going to throw an interception, unless you're Aaron Rodgers or something. Like, it's if you're taking risk, if you're going big down the field, you're going to throw interceptions. But he wasn't throwing 2 a game before that. So again, it's a narrative. It's kind of him being set up to take the fall so that when Tampa got their new quarterback, it can make him look that much better, right? It's all about how you frame an argument. It's all about the perception of a person. And he got a bad rap for that whole thing, for doing what he was asked to do, and admittedly the coach knowing he was limited. If the coach knows you can't see the scoreboard, yet he's not going to do anything about it, yet he's going to just be like, that's cool, just keep throwing the ball downfield, keep throwing the ball to the blurry numbers, like whatever. It doesn't make sense to me. So I don't think that he's going to be bad. I don't think he can be bad. And I think his year that he took off essentially while being a backup has helped him learn, helped him mature in a way that he wouldn't have gotten with a quarterback coach who wasn't going to have patience and wasn't going to work with him and wasn't going to try to teach him. I just think he's in a better position. I think he's in a better situation. And I think earning the starting job after having been disparaged so bad gives you a new type of confidence that you value what you have now, and he's going to treasure that. He's going to cherish it. And I think he's going to be fine. Even if he throws 20 interceptions, it can't be as bad as it was before, especially with the media criticism of him.
Yeah, it was. I'll say this. I won't say that he was an amazing quarterback. He always had questions in his game with, can he lead his team? Can he help them take the steps that they need to, right? Remember, he had Mike Evans. He had, what is that other guy's name? Oh, see, I'll remember it at some point as well, right? But he had a lot of really solid wide receivers that were down there. And if you remember about Jameis coming in, right, his percentage of his quarterback percentage, his accuracy was kind of like an issue kind of early on. And it did get a little bit better, which is a good thing. He's always thrown for a lot of yards. The picks have been, like you said, in the 15 to 18 type of range. So it's been right around like 1 a game or so, which may be a little bit higher than some. But, if you're throwing the ball as often as he does and as often as he's expected to, some of those things happen. Those years, I think the 2 years prior to the year where he threw all those picks, right, their team only won 3 games each of those years, right? So that's 2 different things as well, right? Can you lead your team to victories, and can you not have these issues with whatever criticism, right? And the biggest part is, like, it doesn't even matter if Jameis was a really good quarterback in the past or a okay quarterback in the past. What does matter in the sense of media, in the sense of what sells, in the sense of how he might perform is what is the media talking about, right? The media makes their own narratives, and they can get people that don't even care about Jameis Winston's interceptions talking about it as if it's an issue, and I feel like that's the bigger thing, is that even if it's not true, how does he deal with that criticism? So I think that's going to be something that we have to see. But the Saints offense has been used to Drew Brees. They've been used to Brees as a leader for for so many years, and now they don't have Drew Brees there. It's going to be a different type of leadership style with Jameis. We know that he's trying to eat them dubs. So we know that's going to be a little bit different, but he does have that energy, right? Drew Brees has always been a very charismatic leader. Ever since he was at Purdue, he was a charismatic leader. Even with the Chargers, he tried to be, and then he got outs by Phillip Rivers. But once he got to New Orleans, right, once he got to New Orleans, he really just showed that he could be that leader and took his team to the next level. So for a team that expects a lot from a quarterback, I think that this year is going to be interesting. Jameis is not Drew Brees. Taysom Hill is not Drew Brees, right? So these guys are going to have to show something. They're going to have to convince their offense, convince their team, convince the defense, convince the ownership that they are the right person to lead this ship. So I think that that's going to be one of the interesting things to kind of like keep in mind. And I think that's my main thing for Jameis overall. And then we haven't really talked about Taysom Hill too much, but I did want to mention a little bit about Taysom Hill. I know he's probably under a lot of pressure as well, right? He just got this large contract, and you were talking about him being a little bit more timid in the game, right? I wonder if he's timid because he knows that the quarterback competition is heating up. He knows that Jameis is showing things that he doesn't have in his game specifically, and now he's trying to keep up and show that they need to keep him around. Like, this is his money, this is his job, this is his livelihood. He probably never thought he'd really have a chance to play quarterback in the NFL. Now he is so close to being a starting quarterback for possibly years to come if things go well with him compared to Jameis. So what do you think about Taysom Hill? How is he going into the season? And what effect do you think, if any, does it have that Jameis has been named the starting quarterback this year?
Well, first of all, that contract that he signed, I'm not sure what the actual value is, but we looked into it. It's not as big as it was reported to be. So I'm sure there is no weight financially on his head because, he's probably not making $100 million, right? It's just not the case. But for him, I do think he won't and stays that way. Like, pretty much knew where he stood. He wasn't going to try to be the starter. He knew he could fill in any way he needed to. So it was fine. But with the fact that there is a competition and he could win the starting job, I'm sure that did factor into how he played. But I'm sure he also understands he's better at other things than being a quarterback. And he hasn't been a quarterback since college. So, 4 or 5 years, however long he's been in the league, maybe longer, he hasn't been a real quarterback. So, I don't think he's worried too much. I think he knows what he's able to do. I think he knows that Sean Payton loves him. Sean Payton thought he's the fastest guy on the team. Sean Payton talks so highly of him. He has a spot on the team regardless of where he plays on the field. So it's okay. And if it doesn't work out as a quarterback, again, he'll be a tight end. If it doesn't work out as a tight end, he's going to block punts. It doesn't matter. He's going to do something. So either way, he's on the field. He's going to be fine. He has his spot secure. So I think he can go out there and just play, just do what he does and be happy.
Yeah, I can see some double, triple options with Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. I feel like Jameis Winston was like the prototypical like college type quarterback that always has that energy, is always down for trick plays, and he gets excited about all of those different types of things. One thing about Taysom Hill's contract, his base salary is only $1 million. His signing bonus, however, is $6.2 million. So his cap hit this year is $7.5 million. And then next year he has a cap hit of $8.9 million with a signing bonus of $2.2 million. Right. So that's the biggest thing for him. And then again, Taysom Hill is 31 years old right now, so we'll see what happens with him. Like his speed's probably going to go at some point. Maybe it's not. Maybe he's supposed to be that quick Edelman type of guy that just stays around forever or something,
Yeah, he went on a mission, right? Is that why? Because he had to do his 2-year mission?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know anything about this mission. Oh, there we go. So yeah, I'm not sure about his mission with BYU, but if Jeremy says it, I'm pretty sure it happened. That's my truth now.
I'm
that's why he's older. I mean,
why he's older than you think he is.
Yeah, maybe it's just because for me, I didn't really know too much about Taysom Hill until he really kind of like sparked up. So I think that was one of the things that he sparked up later in his career. And that's when I first started to notice Taysom Hill and his impact, right? I think it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, where he kind of started to come along.
I remember I was with my friends. We went to New Orleans. I think it was 2018. I think I feel like it was. Either way, he had blocked a punt in the Ravens game, I think. And then when my friends was like, "Hey, Taysom Hill, why is he blocking punts now?" You know, and it was just perfect because why was he blocking punts? How did he even get on the coverage team to block a punt? But there he was, making tackles on the kickoff and all that stuff. Like, that's what he was doing. So I don't think it matters. He's going to play. He's going to be on the field regardless. But, yeah, I was just like, how did he? It makes no sense. So for fantasy purposes, it is better that he's not a quarterback too, right? Everybody could use him. He'll be the new was it him? Yeah,
the flex option, yeah.
That same year, whenever it was that he was listed as quarterback, tight end or something, people were using him in the flex spot.
Yeah. I think I might have had him for a little bit as my tight end, and then they moved him to quarterback, switched off his his flex option, and he was trash at that point. There was no point in using him. Right. So I think just following up with that Taysom Hill contract, right? So the initial deal is worth 4 years, $140 million, right? So I think that there's just a bunch of bonuses and incentives that are in his contract, which he probably won't get more than 2 of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Unless he's a starting quarterback, unless Jameis gets hurt.
Yeah, we need
sorry guys, we're out. Peace. Oh, never mind. Okay.
We need to what? Incentives. No, I'm saying we need to go into some of those incentives.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of them are Super Bowl, All Pro, World's Strongest Man Championship. I'm sure some of them things are just impossible.
Exactly. It's like, you need to
5 Guinness World Records at the time.
Yeah, you need to run a 4.40 in the off season. Like, everything's gonna be put in there. I'd put everything in there. You need to have about 2-3 babies.
He's got to beat Tyreek Hill in a race. All of that.
Yeah, beat Tyreek Hill. Hey, by the way, Usain Bolt would blow out Tyreek Hill. Like, I don't even think it would be close. Tyreek Hill is fast, but people sleep on how fast Usain. Even if he isn't like actively training for Olympics or meets or whatever, I feel like he would still blow Tyreek Hill out the water. I don't even think it would be close, by the way.
Yeah, here's what I just am starting to understand about Usain Bolt right now. Usain Bolt never ran fast as he could because he was always winning so much that no one pushed him.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people would be like, why isn't he running hard the whole race? And that's what I used to think too. But I've never been in that position. Like, if you're clear of the field by so much, you don't need to keep running hard, right? So I don't think he ran hard the entire race ever because he was always that much farther ahead of people. So, yeah, I think people don't know because they never seen it, because they don't know the guy who could probably run, 9.5 flat in the 100 if he ran as hard as he could. But there's no one to push him, so he never will and never.
Yeah, so he just was like, all right, cool. He got to there. He's like, my stride is so long. They're not going to catch me. I'm good. And then that was it. So that's how it goes, man. That's that super athletic speed right there that nobody can touch. So I'm down to see it. I'm down to see Tyreek Hill get burnt. I think that would be interesting. But yeah, definitely Usain Bolt. That boy fast. So that's all I'll say about that.
In the Pro Bowl when they used to have races.
Yeah,
I remember because the only thing I remember, Allen Rossum was the fastest guy, the cornerback for the Falcons, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was like the fastest guy in the NFL for a while, and I think it was because at the Pro Bowl they had races, individual races, so they need to bring that back. And then Usain Bolt can be he can race the winner of the whole thing. So then we can really see, is Tyreek Hill even the fastest guy in the NFL right now? And if he is, then he can race Usain Bolt. Like, people would see that. People would watch that. That's pay-per-view. I don't care. You can skip with the NFL and just do that, and people would watch it.
All entertainment. Yeah, it's all entertainment. Like, you know what they need to do? They need to just get creative with it, right? Because it is about entertainment. I think that they probably went away just because players didn't want to get hurt, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But you know what? They can, like, kind of incorporate, like, a 40-yard dash with, like, the like, you know, that Masked Singer type of show or whatever. Just put mask on the guy so we don't know who it is. And then you just, like, beforehand, you pick who you think's going to win. and at the end they reveal themselves and they're like, it's you. I knew you were fast. I knew this was you the whole time, right? Like, they need to keep going with that entertainment. They can bring some celebrities in there, have Fat Joe running, and whatever they want to do, right? Like,
Dude,
bring in some other people.
That would be so dumb. If you had like a guy who was clearly out of shape and fat racing, like nobody would pick him.
See,
That's
that's
like
what I'm
that,
saying. But you don't know because
know
you
he's
do
fat.
one with no, but you do one with linemen also, right? So you do one with linemen.
Okay.
Yeah, you just make it interesting. They be like, oh yeah, who is that? I don't know.
That makes me think of
Vita V. Nah, this is Vita V. Yeah, nah,
Yeah.
it's actually Fat Joe. Can he make it to the
Makes me think
NFL?
what was it on 30 Rock? I think they had that show called Gold Case where there was like 10 people had cases and one of them was full of gold, and these were like just these models that were holding them, and so the one with the gold was always shaking, and they'd be like, "Is that one?" every time, so they had to cancel the show immediately because everybody won all the time. It's like that. Like there's gonna be a person. Clearly, that fat guy is Fat Joe, and he's not Chris Johnson, so we get it.
Yeah. See, I think the NFL right now is just at their part where they're like, you know what, like we are entertainment. Like, entertainment makes more than sports will, in a sense, right? Like, it's all about the entertainment factor of the sports, right? If you just have a bunch of guys playing sports by themselves, it's only going to get so much. But if you have that entertainment factor that you bring in that projection to the national media, I think that's where it goes from there. So cool, man. I think that's a really good segue into the next part of our show, right? So we said that the NFL used to have these.
Can we actually talk about one little related thing really quick?
Nah, man. What you trying to talk
thanks.
about? Let's go.
So Trevor Lawrence officially was named the starter in Jacksonville, which is no surprise. But have you seen their O-line?
Nah.
He might get beat up all year. You have any thoughts on that?
That's life. That's
okay.
That's
all right. Next topic.
That's honestly, what we start to see is that these teams that are at the bottom, for some weird reason, they get a top quarterback and they say, hey, he's going to save us. He's going to answer all of our issues. But what they don't realize is that they're putting them in situations where they're not likely to succeed, right? We talked about Andrew Luck. His career ended early, a bunch of sacks early because of the line issues. They didn't invest in that. Joe Burrow, we saw that.
The same situation.
Yeah, we saw Jameis, Joe Burrow, right? Carr, right? We keep seeing the situation where teams will consistently invest in a young quarterback only as a quarterback, put wide receivers around him, but don't give him any type of time to throw, which is very, I guess, unorthodox in a sense, right? Because what you want a quarterback to do is to feel comfortable. You want your young, comfortable quarterback to feel comfortable so that he can have time to process what's going on from the defense, right? So now he's building up his skills. He's learning how to react to plays. He's seeing how guys are getting open. He's seeing all the little small movements. He's understanding how he can control the linebackers and the safeties with his eyes or with his movements. If he has no time to throw, how is he actually going to build up these skills? He's not. He has no chance of doing that. And that's why you see a lot of these quarterbacks start to stagnate over the years because they don't have the developmental support that they really need to elevate their game, right? Some of them are going to make things happen, right? So that's a good thing that you have mobile quarterbacks, but some of these other guys, they don't have the correct setup, and that just it just extends the amount of time that it takes for them to kind of even reach their potential if they end up getting there. So for Trevor Lawrence, be smart out there, protect yourself, learn how to get rid of the ball, and just you have to take it for what it is, and just tell them, like, I need help. I need help, man. Like, they got to give me some help, brother. So
yeah, there's a reason these teams got the number one pick, and that's it. So they got to be smart about it. But yeah, I also think that hopefully Joe Burrow can play well after that ACL injury. But I do think those type of things do happen. But the team has to show that it's trying to help. It can't draft a wide receiver with the first round pick as opposed to a lineman, right? Like Cincinnati did. They do need to try to at least look like they're trying to help the quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Because we talk so much about how the media creates all these narratives. Well, then you need to make sure the media is not on your back, right? And I think that's part of it. Like, hey, just draft a lineman. They're good linemen. Linemen are so important now, and there's so many good ones that come out that can start from day one. Just do that, and then get the second best wide receiver on your draft chart, right? Like, do that, and then that'll help a lot. It'll help your quarterback physically, and it'll help the media get off your back.
Yeah, and I think that that's one of the things is that it's drafting linemen. I'll actually say is fairly hard. I think that there's a big difference between an offensive lineman coming in from college to the pros and dealing with guys that have been in the pros for years and know all kinds of moves, have had chances to build up their strength, are very quick. And when you're talking about being at the college level, well, there's only going to be so many really good defensive ends that you're going to go against. When you get to the NFL, these guys are all good, and you're facing them every single week, and they all have different skills that help elevate them against the offensive line. So I think that the offensive linemen, there are some that can make that transition really well, really quick, especially those interior linemen like your guards, your centers, those tackles. Yeah, beast. Those other guys, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to just develop as like a tackle, right? Like as a left tackle, right tackle, maybe you have a little bit more success early on because there's going to be that blocking assignment or that run blocking assignment more than the passing type of situation all the time. But in addition, we've seen different things like Eric Fisher kind of like took a while, right? There's different guys that that just take a little bit of time to get to that level. So I think that you have to make sure that you shore up your line in the off season, whether it's from free agency, whether it's from guys that have developed in your system, whether it's trying to draft a guy and really getting him those reps so that he feels comfortable playing that tackle position at the NFL. Whatever it is, you have to make sure that you're doing enough so that you don't have to worry about the issues of your quarterback not having enough time to make accurate passes and to replay so that he can grow for the future, you know.
Yep. Okay, I'm good now. I'm good to transition. There's no good segue now. I messed it up, but I'm good to go.
It's good. It's good. It's a perfect segue. So we talked about some of our favorite. What we want to do is talk about some of our favorite moments of the college football season. Trevor Lawrence has had many memorable moments in the college football. In college football, thinking about the championship game where they were down at half, came back, beat Ohio. Like that was pretty wild. Could he do it again? Couldn't do it again. But I think that was actually really cool, right? So that's an awesome segue. So I'll start with you. Any specific moments in college football that come to mind when you're thinking about some of the favorite moments or some of the favorite years of the players that you've seen that have really stood out in college football before?
I shouldn't start here, but I'm going to do it because we're supposed to be positive. But one of my biggest memories is that Miami-Ohio State championship game. And what was it, 02 or 03? One of those years.
Chris Gamble, yeah.
Miami had already won the year before. They were trying to go back-to-back, and they were playing Ohio State in the BCS championship game. And that whole thing with the pass interference that got called at the end of the game that then gave Ohio State another chance to tie, and they ended up winning later on. I remember that I was watching it. I was going for Miami because, I don't know, Miami's just cool, right? That was like, that was at the tail end of Miami still being a cool swagger type school. So, I mean, they had so many good players on that team. Even, who was it back then? Like Willis McGahee and those guys. Ed Reed was on one of those teams, something like that. Like, they were such a stacked team back then. And then it was just Maurice Claret, I believe, right? Like, that was it. Craig Krenzel or something. So the fact that was even a game kind of baffled me to begin with. And then that little phantom pass interference in the end zone in the overtime period. Oh, man. I remember that because I was just like, I can't believe this is happening. I had no reason to care, but I was like, here we go, Ohio State again, man. Always Ohio State. So that was another part of, like, for some reason, hating Ohio State, even though I hadn't. I just did. And, I think it's good. It's good business to hate Ohio State. So it's all good for me. But I remember that game specifically.
See, for me, that's actually one of the things that I remembered that came up heavy was, I think it was was it Troy Brown? No, what was that guy's name? Troy Smith.
From Ohio State,
Yeah. But I was going to say that Maurice Clarett, right? Like, the year that he came into college football was just wild, right? Because no one expected Maurice Clarett to do what he actually did. And he came in and he showed out. As a true freshman, right? He came in and just dominated everybody. And I remember all the fanfare that was happening when Maurice Clarett was around. I'm just like, this dude is going to be amazing, right? And I think that how he basically dominated that first year was something that a lot of people hadn't really seen. They didn't expect that to happen. And the whole fallout from that was kind of disappointing, right? With his whole not going to be able to go to the NFL, take his year off, and then all that other stuff. But what he did in that 1 year I thought was really amazing. And shout out to Maurice Clarett's rookie year, and shout out to what he's doing right now. And I heard he's actually trying to help out a lot of people as well, trying to give back and make sure that people aren't going down the same route as him. So hopefully he gets all his stuff together, or hopefully he's already gotten it together. But shout out to Maurice Clarett's rookie year. I think that was one to remember for a long time.
Yeah, he had a really good year. We're doing shout outs to rookie years now. Okay.
Hey, rookie seasons, yeah.
Individual seasons.
Or freshman. I'll say freshman season. Freshman, I forgot. Yeah.
Realistically, there's no reason why he shouldn't have been able to go to the NFL. It's just the whole thing, the age limit is, to me, is silly. So hopefully that gets fixed. I mean, we had another guy, Mike Williams from USC.
Yeah, Mike Williams.
Didn't get allowed to go into, but he had a little bit longer of a career. Is he still playing?
Nah.
Okay, he had a little longer of a career though than Clarett, who kind of bounced around when he did.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was fun watching him because he was sensational. He was a really good player. But that whole team, I'm gonna pass on that whole team.
I'll throw on one more as well. Oh man, there's so many when I start thinking about it. You know, like you can tell I used to like running backs a lot. Like that Reggie Bush year where he was just dominating everything, where he won the Heisman, and he's just coming out here, and no one had an answer for Reggie Bush, right? Like that Mike Williams thing made me think about that. But the one that I really wanted to bring up was, do you remember when Appalachian State was just dominating and nobody wanted to play them, and then Michigan was like, all right, we'll play you. You remember that?
Yeah.
You remember what happened to Michigan that year?
Yeah, when they got beat in the Big House, yeah.
Wow. When Appalachian State beat Michigan in the Big House, like that changed a lot of people's thoughts about just Michigan in general, right? Like I feel like that hurt Michigan recruiting. I feel like it hurt their vibe altogether. And Denard Robinson, wasn't he the quarterback for them that year?
I can't even remember what year that was. I can't remember.
I thought
it was the end of Lloyd Carr's career, though.
End of coaches' careers. All right, that's what's up. But yeah, that specific game, I just remember it was going super late, and people were like, "Wait, Michigan's down. Like, are you guys seeing this? Like, Appalachian State can beat Michigan in the Big House." And again, that was something that no one thought was really going to happen. And once that happened, I think it shocked the world. So shout out again to Appalachian State's freshman year. They did a really good job. And I know Jeremy's probably going to talk about me because I'm talking about freshman years. But shout out to Appalachian State's freshman year. I had a horrible freshman year at Purdue with my football experience. It was actually pretty good. But man, it ended bad. Do you remember what happened to Purdue? Do you have any thought about what I'm talking about with the whole Purdue thing?
In what, 03?
03.
Yeah, no, I don't remember anything about Purdue in 03. No.
So Purdue in 03, this is when they were number 4 in the country, I think it was, in football, and we had Kyle Orton as our quarterback. So we were going against Wisconsin, and I think Miami had lost earlier in that day and someone else. So I thought that we had a chance to get to number 2, and I was so excited. We had a night game against Wisconsin. We were dominating them. And then at one point in the game, Cal Orton decided to run the ball. He ended up jumping, getting spent around in the air, fumbled the ball. He also got face masks that they didn't call, but he fumbled the ball. Once he fumbled the ball, they picked up the ball. I think it ran back for a touchdown, and then they just went to outscore us the rest of that game. We lost, I think, every one of our games from then on. I think it was like 4 games or so to the end of the season. We lost every one of the games. I think besides maybe one game, and our whole season was just a disaster after that play. But we were number 4 in the country, and it was taken away from us just like that with a face mask that wasn't called, and it just ruined our whole season.
Man, shout out to your freshman year. Oh, man.
Shout out to it. Oh, shout out to freshman year. That was a fun year, but the football part was not fun for me, for sure.
My freshman year, I don't think we were that good in football either, but we were Miami good at home. I was in the band, and so I got to go all the home football games for free essentially because I was playing. Well, we beat Miami that year, and that was like the beginning of a tradition where UNC now feels like regularly beats Miami in football. And we destroyed them last year we put up like 600 rushing yards last year between our 2 running backs. So that's like, if we play Miami, especially at Chapel Hill, that feels like a win. And it feels like it started that year, my freshman year, and everybody stormed the field and everything. That was a fun game. I don't know how we won because we weren't supposed to be good at all, and Miami was supposed to be good, because it's Miami. But
yeah,
things happen.
Yeah, man. That was interesting. Yeah, I like going down memory lane and thinking about some of those things. So honestly, you forget some of those great moments in college sports, but when you're living them in real time, they're just very, very interesting and very amazing. It's something that keeps your attention. And I'm glad that we got to go back and talk a little bit about some of the ones that were memorable for us. And I hope that this season provides a lot of memories for those people that are either just now getting into football or those people that are excited to be back into the game. So look forward to some memories this season. And if you do notice anything that you think is just crazy or wild, or you feel like you're going to remember for the future years, feel free to share it with us. We'd love to know what your instant classics, your instant memories are going to be, because I think that going back and remembering those is one of the highlights when I just have those like random epiphanies or those random memories that just shoot into my head. So
yeah, and I think that's the good thing about sports is like you live the sport in the moment, right? Just be there, be engaged, root for your team, get emotionally invested, and that way you don't think like you don't remember these things cemented in your head the way they do, because you just experience at the time and you just live it and you love it. And then when somebody brings it up, then you bring out all these emotions that are tied to it and where you were and who you watched it with or what you thought about the players or whatever. Shouting out the freshman years, everything like that. Just live the sport, and that's what's the great part about sports. I think it's been hard to understand that, hard to remember that, because sports have been so difficult these last 2 years, essentially, the last 2 seasons. Because everything that comes with sports has been politicized. It's been trying to be changed from just being something that's a release and kind of just like getting you away from your problems to all your problems are now in the sport. And I think that's what a lot of people are upset about is everything that sports stands for, that it has been kind of infiltrated in a way by the things that people are trying to get away from by watching and participating in sports, So I think sports are there for a way to as entertainment, like you said. So everybody that watches it wants to be entertained. They just want to be happy. They want some sort of way to get away from whatever their problems are. So let's let it be that. And whatever else is going on behind the scenes, just operate behind the scenes. And the product that you present to the people, just let it be sports. Let it be happy. Because I think there was a certain point where it was necessary that we brought a lot of these other social things into sports. And it's necessary, right? But you can kind of belabor it. You can kind of do it so much that it loses its meaning and it kind of pushes your audience away. So I think let's get back to that. Let's operate and keep whatever the stuff is behind the scenes. Let's do that. Let's make sure we focus on it, but do it in a way that is behind the scenes, that is more effective, I think, than trying to push people into this other stuff that kind of makes them not even want to watch the game anymore, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Well said, Jeremy. That's why you're the man. Enjoy that water. Enjoy that agua, that H2 Izzo.
Thank you. High quality H2O.
With that said, I think that's pretty much all I have for today. One thing that I would love in the future, and you guys, if we get enough likes on this video, maybe we can get Jeremy to show us some of his musical skills that he showcased when he was at UNC. Maybe he can do that if we get 100 views. That's what we're going for?
Sure. Get 100 views. And what exactly do you mean by musical skills?
Oh, when you're in the band, man, I need to hear some of those some of the melodies.
Okay. All right, we'll see what we can do. But we got to get at least 100 views and 50 comments on YouTube.
100 views, 50 comments. All right, sounds good. We're gonna do that. We maybe have some ESPN classic video of Jeremy on the field at halftime. So stay tuned for that. But outside of that, I think that's all I had, Jeremy. Anything else that you wanted to add to the end of the show before we get out of here?
Nah, man, it's been good. You know, we'll see how it sounds and everything like that. So
awesome. Well, with that said, this is Beyond Sports with Paul and Jeremy. I'm Paul.
I'm Jeremy.
And thank you guys for listening to us today. Again, let us know any of your sports memories that you hold dear or the ones that stand out to you. And we'll definitely share those with our audience. Outside of that, have an awesome week. Enjoy the last weekend of preseason football and get ready for the start of NFL and college football coming your way just next weekend.
Oh, yeah, and we'll be back next week. We'll do our full predictions for the NFL season.
All right, sounds good. All right, take care, everybody. Peace.
See ya.